Hey folks, Eric here from DaredevilSneakers.com, and a bit ago I posted a review of the Apple Watch Ultra comparing it to the Garmin Fenix 7X Solar Sapphire Edition, and I talked about all the things from the hardware to the software, and if you want to see that video, I've linked it below, or you can look over here in the corner. Now, in order to research that review, I did a lot of running wearing both of the watches, and it got me thinking about the native run apps on these two, and I think that that bears a closer look. So in this video, I'm going to look at the Garmin platform versus the Apple Ultra platform just for running. Now, as I stated in my initial review, I'm more partial to the Garmin watches than the Apple for the simple reason that Garmin makes an endurance sports watch with smartwatch features, while Apple makes a lifestyle smartwatch with some endurance sports features. But again, you can check out that video below. Now, before we get into the apps and the data they show you, I think we need to go over the display stats again because that comes into play. A quick note, I'm using the Enduro 2 rather than the Fenix today, given that I'm in the midst of reviewing it and the measurements that I'm discussing are virtually the same. Shout out to playbetter.com for the loaner. There's an affiliate link below if you're looking to get one for yourself. Now, specifically, I'm looking at the size, shape, and resolution of the displays. The Ultra comes in at 43 by 35 millimeters on my calipers, and the Enduro is 35 millimeters. So objectively, the Apple display is larger, but larger isn't necessarily better, so I'm going to come back to that. As for shape, Apple is rectangular and Garmin a more traditional round shape. Which one is better? That's a personal opinion, but again, we're going to come back to that in a minute. For resolution, Apple wins again, coming in at 326 by 326 pixels compared to the Garmin at 280 by 280 pixels. A negligible difference in my book. So let's talk about the data available to look at on the watch while you're running. Now, depending on what kind of psycho runner you are, you can get super in the weeds with different data points, like physiological measurements, VO2 max or lactic threshold, running dynamics like ground contact time or vertical oscillation. But of those mentioned, how many are the average runner really using on the daily? This is what my main screen looks like. I like 4 distinct data points. At the top, lap pace. In the middle, distance and heart rate. And at the bottom, average pace. I think I'm probably like most runners. In fact, I did an informal poll on the Twitters, and I found that most runners, including my former running coach, use any combination of time, distance, heart rate, and current pace. Now, depending on the workout, I may add some others like running power, cadence, heart zones, overall time, maybe lap or interval pace. And if it's a hill workout, maybe ascent and descent, but that's very rare because, well, I hate hill workouts. Now, on average, like I said, I'm looking at 4 distinct data points per screen. But if I wanted more, I could add up to 8 on some of the larger Garmin models. Not so much on the Ultra. Also like them laid out in a very specific way. And that's where shape and size of display come into play. So let's talk about size.
That's what she said.
The size of the Apple display gets automatically cut because there's no way you can remove the time of day, workout icon, and the total time at the top. That, along with the room at the bottom to show that there are screens that you can swipe to, means that you're reduced to just about 20 millimeters of space to show the data you want to see. Let's compare that to the Garmin. On the Fenix 7, I'm looking at just about 30 millimeters of space for the data. And given the shape, 2 can get squeezed into that one line without sacrificing size. You can't do that with a rectangular display. But okay, not everyone has a watch this big, so let's look at some of the more popular Garmins, like the ASICS, 26 millimeters. The 945, 955, 25 millimeters on both. But it's not just the size, it's the layout. I think stacking the data points on a round screen rather than rectangular just makes them easier to read. You know what else makes them easier to read? The way the screen is lit. I know the Ultra is crystal clear and is slightly more crisp given the pixel count, but with the Garmin, I have the opportunity to change it from essentially dark mode to light mode. And for these old eyes, that makes a huge difference. You just can't do that on the Ultra. And even though most of us are only looking at 4 data points while we're working out, there's much more that both watches offer, like the different workout profiles. So let's look at the kinds that are offered on the two. Apple has running, and they say the track running is coming out at some point soon. Okay, that's 2. Let's look at the Garmin. On all of these models, you get running, outdoor track running, treadmill running, indoor track running, trail running, virtual running, and ultra running. Each one of these gives you a certain set of stats on the screens that are going to be pertinent to that workout or race. And in the case of ultra running, the watch will automatically set the battery usage to a less consumptive mode to last as long as you need for you to finish the workout or the race. But it's not just about the profiles with predetermined data selected. It's about the data it aggregates and offers you in order to make your workouts or your races more useful. Things like stride length, cadence, running power, performance condition, lactic threshold, race predictor, and then you get a course with a weather-specific race predictor. Apple offers very few of these functions. Battery also needs to be taken into consideration. Yes, you can set the Apple Watch to low battery mode off the bat. According to Apple, doing so will extend the battery life beyond 12 hours while you're doing a GPS-based workout. Apple is also working on a reduced GPS and heart rate mode, which will reduce the sampling for both measurements to increase the battery life during longer workouts. So at best, Apple claims up to 60 hours of battery life in low power mode as of today. Want to know what Garmin claims? For Epic's max battery mode, 75 hours. 955 Ultra Track, 80 hours. Fenix 7, 136 hours. Now, if you're going to do 140.6 distance tries or 70.3s or ultras, are you really going to take the chance of losing your race data to a dead battery? So the three big takeaways for me are size and shape both make a huge difference in reading data while on the road. Built-in profiles and back-end data that will enhance your workouts are more abundant on the Garmin platform, and you can't compete with Garmin for battery life. Look, I think it comes down to what I said in my initial review and at the top of this video. What are you looking for? A lifestyle smartwatch that has some running capabilities or a running smartwatch? If it's the former, you're not going to find a better one than the Apple Watch Ultra. If running isn't the first reason you're looking for a smartwatch, stick with the Ultra. It checks all the boxes and even has a longer battery life than most other lifestyle smartwatches on the market right now. Across the board, the Apple Watch wins. It's really hard to compete with a watch made by arguably the greatest tech company of all time. But if you're looking for a watch specifically for running, you can't find a better one than any of those made by Garmin. Not only do they have the ability to record everything, the metrics Garmin gives you and the training insights are incomparable if you're not just trying to stay in shape, but excel at your races. Now, if you'd like any of the watches I mentioned, I did put links in the description of this video for a few different buying options. Just know that they are affiliate links, but at no charge to you, they're just going to go help fund the channel. And if you like this video, I'm obligated by the YouTube terms of service to ask you to smash that like button below, get it up into the YouTube algorithm a little bit more, into more eyeballs, folks that just might find it useful. I'm also obligated to ask you to subscribe if you like gear reviews, race reviews, New York City Marathon tips, or anything endurance sports related. And to hit that bell next to it so you get notified when I put new videos up. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.